Tracy Martin.
Sorry, Mr Speaker. Mr O'Connor's final contribution just threw me there for a minute, actually, because I think part of the problem with the conversation that we're having around this bill is there's too many men like Mr O'Connor inside of it. With the last statement that Mr O'Connor made, which was basically the last statement that Mr O'Connor made with regard to this bill, which is about actually supporting babies, was the fact that if you can't afford to have babies, then don't have them and don't ask the state. That was the last contribution Mr O'Connor made to this debate. And it just blew me away that he had the audacity to stand up in this House, paid for by taxpayers, on a taxpayer's salary, and say that if you can't afford to have babies, don't come and ask me to help you out with it. Now, to get back to where I was going to start with, and the gentleman who is calling from one side is the gentleman who denied babies this amount of money the last time we were sitting at this bill, and sits there with the audacity to take credit for the work that Sue Moroney did when he sold off his vote to the National Party for a bill that they have now introduced, which was actually in Ms Moroney's amended bill when this government voted it down. But so Mr Seymour will stand at some stage and he will lord it about the place about how he will not support this bill because he's arranged to actually get some kudos from this government for a bill that Ms Moroney actually put on this place that the government tricked her out of. That's what happened the last time this bill was in the House, Mr Speaker. But I wanted to actually start where I was going to start, which was commending Ms Moroney for her tenacity, because at the end of the day, we will get there. And we being the women and the men in this House that actually value babies and the relationship between their parents. And I worry about the constant, perhaps, over-accentuation of mothers with regard to this bill. I have some massive concerns about the fact that fathers seem to be left out of the dialogue. And I would really love for this bill to go to Select Committee and to have an opportunity to talk about how can we better support fathers to be able to participate in this in the early months and early years of their babies' lives, of their children's lives. Because I truly, truly believe that when we get equality in the home, we will finally get equality in the workplace. When men feel that they are 100% equal to women in the raising of their children, that they are not stigmatised in any way, shape or form by taking parental leave to stay at home, then actually women will be advanced inside the workplace. So I would very much, and Mr Seymour, if you ever have children, then maybe we'd have a dialogue, but not right now. So I want to give credit to Ms Moroney. I want to give credit to Ms Moroney. I want to give thanks to the goddess, because not only did Ms Moroney get 2 members' bill drawn in a very close space of time, she got the same members' bill drawn in a very close space of time. And therefore, it should be recognised that perhaps it is in the gods that this bill should go through. And New Zealand First will support this bill to Select Committee. But before I close, before I sit, I want to remind the House of the contribution by who is a minister of the National Party at the moment, and her final contribution at one of the first readings of this bill that Ms Moroney brought through last time. And it was the contribution by Maggie Barry. And she said, "I am very, very glad indeed that we are not supporting this rubbish." That was the contribution by Maggie Barry. This is the continued contribution. It's got harder for the National Party to stand against it, because we can hear it from Ms Dowie. Ms Dowie must have swallowed the largest rat she's had to swallow so far in her political career by being forced by the National Party to stand up and take the 10-minute call at the beginning of this bill. Ms Dowie almost sold the whole thing. And yet the National Party made her stand up and take the 10-minute call in opposition. So well done, Ms Dowie. You did the job that they asked you to do. None of us believe that you want to vote against this bill. None of us believe that this was something that you chose to do, but you took a rat for the National Party. Kia ora.
David.